Hey everybody, it's Erin. We're going to back and doing some fun fall, but it could also translate into Christmas decor. And I'm going to show you some options of what you can do with the decor. What I have here is some pipes, but they're out of actually paper. They're just really, really thick paper. They came from when we got some outside tables, and these were around the legs when they came unwrapped. And I saved them because I knew I wanted to use them for something. I just wasn't sure what. So always kind of rethink about some objects that you might be getting that look kind of cool. If you do not have these, another option is you can always use toilet paper rolls, or you could use paper towel rolls. They're not going to be as thick. I mean, these are really thick and hardy, but it gives you that same option if you want to do this particular kind of craft. And that way your kids can get involved too. So what I have done, and a lot of the supplies we're using have come from my Canvas Core Christmas kit. So this is the picture. And if you want a chance to win it and also a chance to buy it, all the information for that is at the end of the video, so make sure you check out the end for all that information. Okay, so what we have here is I've cut out a whole bunch of strips, and this is what we're making. And I have two more because I like trios. Trios or pairs usually tend to look good. Something single, it's kind of going, what was the point of that? And I have cut a series of strips out of some cardstock. Now, this is the back of some of the cardstock that is in my kit, and it was just some leftover pieces, and I love the ivory. I love the look of the ivory on the craft. And I cut these ones to 1 inch because it's the tallest, and it's actually a little bit wider. If you can tell, the width of the diameter of this is quite a bit wider. These ones I cut to just a little bit over 1/2 inch, and these ones I cut down to just a bit less than 1/2 inch. And then what I am doing is I am taking some ink, and there's this beautiful ink color that on here, and I forget the name of it. I forget what color this one is, but it's like this brownish gray. And I'm just inking the sides just to give it a little bit of something going on there. You could leave it plain. You could also do these strips of paper in a color if you wanted to, but I like just the neutrality of it because I want this decor piece to be able to go from Thanksgiving to Christmas and be used in both settings. And if you stick with some pretty neutral colors, it can work both ways. So I think I had one more. Yeah, I had one more I needed to ink in here. Now on the large one, I have 6 strips. On the medium size one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strips. And then for the small one, I'm going to ink this last one real fast. For the smallest one, which is this one right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I just went up by 1 more strips. This was 6, this was 7, and this has 8. And because they're narrower strips, it works a little bit better. The next step we're going to do is we're going to take our Xyron. This is my Creative Station Light, and basically it creates stickers, and it makes it so easy for doing a project like this. I take my paper, and then I'm just going to run it in here. I have the permanent adhesive one on here right now, so I'm just going to line all these little guys up. And I think I can fit all of them in if I line them up just right. And I've cut them to be just a little bit less than the height of this. I believe this one, the height is 5 1/4, so I cut all these to be exactly 5 inches. So we're going to line them up for the bottom of it instead of the top, but we'll get that to that in a minute. Run it through. That's as hard as it is to make a sticker. I'm going to do the tiny ones and just speed this up real fast. All right, so now that I'm at the end of this, I'm just going to cut. There's a little trimmer, and it cuts it off. I'm going to move some of the objects to the ground that I don't need anymore. Peel off the plastic. There we go. And let's go with the middle one, the middle-sized one. I'm going to take a strip of paper, which is now a giant sticker, and I'm going to line it up with the bottom. Actually, I'm going to flip it upside down so I can work this way around. Now, this particular one was actually a little bit longer, but it was the same height as this guy, and I didn't want to have 2. So we just took it out into our shop that we have, and my husband helped me cut. Actually, he did it. He cut the top of that off. So it's very handy having a husband that's got all wonderful tools that I can borrow. So all I'm doing is I'm laying down the strip, and since it's a sticker, it's sticking no problem. And this is going to be the bottom. And why I don't mind having a lip at the top is, you notice we're going to be putting some burlap up there. I mean, it's super simple. Take the next strip, and I'm just going to rough lay them out just by putting on the top edge here, because I want to be able to readjust them. The stuff is not going to be super, super permanent when you first put it down. So it has some time for you to move it around. So if I need to readjust how they're centered on here, because I want to have them pretty much go all the way around and not have a massive gap, which I might. So I'm just doing the top. And then I can stick them down further, which I've already lost one. And as you can tell, I need to readjust these. So I'm going to widen it out, give them a little bit more space, and make them as equidistant as possible. So I need to shift over. And I'm just kind of looking at the top and saying, do I like kind of the distance? And then making sure I've lined them up nice and even once I like the distancing between them. Make sure that they're not kind of going off at an angle. They're going straight down. And then stick them down. Simple as that, just like you see here. And because I'm doing it by eye, like you can tell this one's a little bit off, I'm going to readjust that so it looks a little bit more even. And there we go. And it just makes a nice straight line. I'm going to do the same thing for this one now. All right, so there we go. Lots of really cool towers, and they're different widths of the paper. And what I love about the fact that they're inked, it just adds that rusticness. It also adds another color dimension instead of just a white. It just kind of finishes it off and makes it look like they're a trio of kind of a shabby chic or farmhouse style holders, which I'll show you what these are going to be for in a minute. Okay, the next step is we are going to line them up, finish up the top here. If you wanted to, you could just do paper up to the top, but I feel like it needs something else, which is why I love this look. So we're going to do each top a different color. This burlap trim actually comes from my kit as well, and I'm just going to measure out what I need, and I'm going to trim it off. And so far the colors I'm using are pretty neutral, right? I've used craft, brown, and ivory, and a little bit of this kind of brown slash kind of a black soot color. It's kind of an in-between between a black and a brown. That's what color is in that ink. And then the last color we're going to bring in is red. So I'm going to measure off, and this sheet right here, this burlap sheet, and I'm just going to measure off a section right through here. I just happen to have a little corner. This burlap sheet in red is also in my kit. So even though my kit's Christmas, if you think about, there's some pretty neutral colors that are in here. You can use it for all kinds of fun crafts. So we're even using it for a fall slash Christmas craft. And I like to take my burlap pieces and just trim a little bit off the edge just to give it a little bit of a frayed look. Just add something to it, I think. And I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Just pull a couple strands off. Just makes it look kind of fun. And if you want to keep these little pieces, these can be kind of fun because you can turn them into, they're pretty much like small little pieces of twine in a way. But I have enough. I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and throw them away. But they're really good for other parts of the projects if you ever need them. All right. At this stage, I'm also going to use, and I'm just using another little bit of twine. There's all kinds of twine out there. I'm going to cut a nice long strand, just like this. And I'm just going to wrap this around, just like this. Super simple. It's going to overlap just a tiny bit. That's all I need. And because I don't even feel like getting any glue or anything out, we're just going to use the magic of knot tying to hold this in place. And I'm just going to wrap this around and just make tons and tons and tons of loops. Have it crisscross, have it be fun. Make sure you're actually getting on your jar. And then just tie it with a little knot. And you can have the knot be part of the focal point, or you can have the knot be the part that's hiding behind. It's up to you. There's really no right or wrong to this. If the seam bothers you, then have it just be the back side. It's what's up against the part that nobody sees. Trim that off. I want my knot not to be visible. Aha, knot. And that's it. That's as hard as that is. If you want to rearrange these. Now, here's the other option. If you don't like the burlap on the burlap because it's natural on natural, I'm just using the same twine for all of them, then you could very easily go with a different color. And you could pick out, if you've got a brown twine, you could mismatch. So, because this is, you could do the brown with the natural, you could do the red with the brown, and then you could do the natural with the red if you wanted to kind of mismatch them, but I'm not going that far with it. I'm going to take the red one over here. And this is why it didn't matter. Oops. I cut that just a tiny bit short, and that's going to bug me, so I'm going to cut this to be a little bit longer. We're going to go the other way. All right, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with the strand, so I'm going to keep that and put it back in my kit. And I just didn't measure that very well. I thought I had enough, but I didn't. Hopefully this will be good enough too. There we go. Look at that. A whole lot better. We all make mistakes, right? Just take my twine, start wrapping it around, making all those fun loops. Come in, really get some good dimension with that, get it all layered. And then come in when you get to that end point, tie your knot. Make it tight because you don't have anything holding this burlap on more than the twine. That's it. It's all that's holding this piece together. Snip this off. And that's it. Super hard, right? Now we have a trio of really cute little vases. Now, I have these little pieces in here, and you're kind of wondering why. Is because I can turn these into, I can place these inside here, just like this. And I have a little one for this one because it's short. Because if I place, and these are just empty spice bottles. If I place this in here, you can see it, and I don't want to see it. I want to hide it. So I can place this in here. And now, because they're plastic, I can put a little bit of water, and then I can put some fresh flowers, and it becomes a really kind of a fun trio of vases. And whatever flowers you put in there will depend on what kind of season it is. So this is very kind of a timeless. This can work for fall because the color combinations work really well for fall. This can work for Christmas because obviously the colors still work for that. This can work for Valentine's Day because we've just used red and then some neutral colors. You could even pull this out for 4th of July. And put something blue in the top, and it works for 4th of July. So if you go with mostly neutral colors and then you pick their one pop of color that goes with the most seasons, it becomes something that becomes kind of timeless, and it can be used for a lot of different events throughout the year instead of just one time. So you can pull it back out, and then whatever you put in the top of it depends on kind of the season. So for Valentine's Day, you put pink in here and red. For Christmas, we'd go ahead and put some more green and white and red. For autumn, you put some orange and some yellow and some red and some more browns and stuff. For, 4th of July, you could go in and you put some blues and some reds, and it works. And you can change what flowers you put in there by putting in your things, by putting in your little plastic containers. Fill them up with a little bit of water if you want to change. And then you can store them, and you don't have to worry about that there's a plastic thing with water. It just hold it out, dump it out, and then just store it in there like this. Super simple. You can arrange them so that they sit like this. You can arrange them so that, you can put them separate apart. They can go on a mantle. They can go on a centerpiece of a table. There's a lot of different options that you can use for these little guys, which is kind of fun. Also just use them for storage. So let's say you just love them on your craft desk and you want to use them for pencil storage. Pencils fit in here wonderfully. I'm going to grab some pens real fast just so you can see. So you can put a whole bunch of pens in here and it becomes a really fun pen storage. Even for the really tall one, it works well. It holds it quite nicely. You can put your paintbrushes in here. You can do all kinds of fun stuff. Anything that's got some height to it that you want to stand up, you could bunch them together if you wanted, or you can keep them separate. So it even could be a portable little storage if you go to like crops and stuff. You could take it with you, and then you have some pens that can stick up and they're not floating around your desk. So a lot of options for this little combination of what you can do, and it is just super simple. All right, giveaway time. So here's the kit again. And in that kit, we used the red burlap, we used the paper, and we used the little fringe, the natural color fringe that was in there. This is the 6th project I've made using stuff from this kit, and it is still not done. So I'm not using exclusively that kit, but I'm just using pieces of it to show you kind of the depth of what you can do with this kit, because it's not just Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. If you would like to win a free kit, it is really easy. Leave a comment on this video. Super, super simple. Leave a comment and subscribe. That's all you need to do. I will have a link up in the iCard and also at the end of this video for the playlist with all the other videos that I've used making this kit. And if you leave a comment on any of those videos, it's another chance to win. So we're only going to have one winner, but now your name gets in there 6 times or 5 times or however many videos that you comment on. That's it. If you want to buy this kit, the link is down below, along with all the other supplies that we have used today in this project. So make sure you take it out there. It is an awesome deal. It is $77 worth of materials that you're getting for $49.95, and that is amazing. So make sure you head over there and buy your kit today. So thanks so much for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your comment for your chance to win. And I will see you guys again. Bye-bye.